Welcome. I want to thank you for joining me for today's Facebook Live discussion. If you didn't read the description, we are talking all about the 8 types of negativity that we need to put on the back burner so that we can live a happy, healthy, successful lifestyle. Hey you guys, I'm Carissa Williams. I'm the owner, creator, and boss babe of 365 Daily Hustle. I'm a certified life, health, and mindset coach, but I like to think of myself as a comeback coach. So why do I like to say comeback? Well, every situation and experience that we go through, we have to come back from it. I have been in so many terrible situations, experiences, moments in life, and every freaking time I've had to crawl my way out of that hole and get out of it. I've had to come back from it. I've had to bounce back from something really, really terrible that I could have allowed me to just kind of stay stuck in that nasty, nasty rut. So if you're going through something like that you just don't know if you can go and move on and get through, call me. Let's have that discovery call because I promise there's always a way out of every situation, experience, and moment that we're having. Let's see. I'm just going to kind of dive into tonight's topic because I'm really excited to talk about how a negative mindset affects our entire lifestyle. So if you haven't yet, grab a piece of paper and a pen. And if not, if you think you're going to try and remember it all, good luck. Let me know how it goes. There's a quiz at the end. Just kidding. There's no quiz. There are never any quizzes at the end of these, but I am going to encourage you to, write down or take some sort of action from tonight. Before I get started, if you are here with me, let me know you're here. Drop in your name. Say, hey girl, hey, what's up? I want to know if you are finding that the video that we're going to, the topic, the information that we're talking about is resonating with you. I have a lot of clients. I work with people. I hear this all the time. I battle it myself. Those negative thoughts can and will get the best of you if you don't address them. So here we go, right? Number 1 is perfection. Trying to achieve something that's literally impossible will only result in that feeling of less than perfect. We've all heard, right? Being perfect is the enemy. I don't know who said it. If anyone knows who said it, put it in there. But really, perfection is a huge pipe dream. And trust me, I'm a recovering perfectionist. Being in marketing, the flyer was never quite right. The email was never quite perfect. I understand all of that, but I really did have to let the idea of perfection go. So a good example of this that I hear a lot is the business idea, right? Hey, Tiffany, welcome. So the business idea, instead of waiting until you've completely narrowed down the business plan, just start it. Trust me, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I know a lot of business people that opened up a business and had their business plan and then completely went off track after they were a year in business. They were like, who would have thought that didn't go as planned? So yeah, if you're someone who's trying to just get going, just do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like Mel Robbins says, and just do it. Another good example is in our health. Right? I know a lot of ladies that are I just can't find the right gym. I don't know what to wear. I don't know what equipment to use. My suggestion would be just start walking. Walk around the neighborhood, right? Do the things you already know work and that make you feel good. That last example that I want to give you, because I really did seriously struggle with this and I still do. So sending emails, right? Instead of trying to create a very well-written email that's so perfect sounding, it's got every little line where it needs to be, the links are all connected, the pictures at the bottom, right? I would just find myself all these drafts in my inbox years and years ago because I was so afraid to send an email that was so imperfect. Because I was well, what if they judge me for it? Well, I'm here to tell you I'm pretty dang successful and I've sent a crap ton of emails that with misspells and grammar problems. So yeah, if you know me, you know that's so totally true. And I know you don't judge me for it. So I love you guys. But you have to think you are capable of amazing things. But unless you learn to let go of the idea of that perfection, you'll have a hard time achieving any amazing thing. So please, that was number 1, let go of perfection. Number 2, judgment over ourselves and others. Now, ladies that are watching, try not to get offensive, but we are the worst when it comes to judging people and ourselves. I cannot speak for the guys, but I work with a lot of male clients, and they do happen to agree with me that women tend to be more judgy than men. So when we are judgmental, that typically means you're focusing on the negative parts of either yourself or others. When you're comparing yourself to others, you're typically picking apart all the negative things about either yourself or them. Okay, so it's so easy to cast out that judgment upon others, but really when we do that, we're putting this mental story deep within our brain that we don't even realize that we're doing, and that really does cloud our judgment and mindset. So let go of judgment. In fact, judgment separates you from achieving those goals. Judgment creates limitations on achieving your dreams. So I'm not going to get into this, but I do feel that I got to talk about it. So if you didn't know me when I was over 200 pounds, great, right? You never knew what that Carissa looked like, felt like, and what her internal battles really were, those struggles. But as someone who was over 200 pounds, there were a lot of men and women who judged me. Okay. They would look at my children. They would look at, if we were out with my family, they'd be like, oh, heavy set mom. That child's probably going to be heavy set, right? Women would judge me for what I ate. They would judge me for my lack of movement and exercise. I'm here to tell you, ladies, that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So here I am, the best shape of my life, the strongest mindset that I'm ever going to have, at this moment. And I say that because it obviously can always get better. But yeah, I get judged like a son of a bitch. Pardon my language, but women look at me, men look at me, and they cast a judgment. And it's not easy and it's not fair. So you know what? I'm not going to go into this because you can tell I have a huge passion about it. It really has. I see it all the time, that people put judgment on it. And it's negativity that is no longer needed in our life. It really, really, it's not needed. So let go of judgment. Number 3, self-doubt, right? Self-doubt. I think it was a couple weeks ago I talked about creating a mindset, right? And anything worth creating or achieving has to start with our thought process. The seed has to get planted. So when we talk about self-doubt, I want you to visualize it as a weed in that garden that's in your head full of awesomeness. So just like a weed, it can spread and it can take over. And in order to really take out the weed, you have to go from within. You have to get down on the ground and you have to wiggle it out, and it has to hold root in everything, which is really, really hard to do on your own. I know a ton of people who go through the whole self-doubt journey, and it's critical, right? So as an entrepreneur, as someone who struggled with self-doubt a lot in my past, there's not a day that goes by that when I'm trying to do something and I fail at it, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not meant to do this. There was a time in my past career that I was like, I'm not smart enough for this, right? I can't go after that big promotion. Are you kidding? I don't have the college education. All of these things, that is the self-doubt. It kills you. So if you're wanting to get that out, right, and pluck that inner voice that keeps creeping up, I'm telling you, I'm in the best shape of my life, and yet there's still times of self-doubt that I'm like, I'm never going to do that. I'm not healthy enough, right? It's so quick that it comes into our brain. And the beauty of it is with coaching and with what I've learned over the years is I know how to hit that hard reset. I'm like, Nope, inner voice, you're not coming back. You're not going to creep up into my goodness. Oh my gosh. And I completely hit the reset and I let it go. So when you hear that inner voice creep up with you, when you hear it, okay, my clients, I ask you to name it so that you can physically tell that inner voice of yours to take a hike, right? But how do you get rid of that self-doubt? Is you have to embrace the challenges. You have to embrace the journey and the struggles that you go through. You have to be super persistent when it comes to setbacks. You have to see effort as a part of mastery. You have to learn and accept criticism and feedback. And you have to find lessons of inspiration from the experiences in others, right? You have to, there's like that mirroring. If you want to be successful, you hang around successful people. You watch and see what they do, what they're reading, how they stay focused, right? And you mirror that. And then you change it and make it your own. So you have to find lessons with other people's success, or you'll just constantly be in that same self-doubting situation. Number 4 is assuming the worst is going to happen. If you never think that things can be better, sorry, they're never going to get better, right? So I used to be a pro at assuming the worst. In fact, I was so good at it, I could have put that under the resume section, under skills. So I remember little quick story, I remember being really upset with one of my girlfriends one time. So I was sending her about 10 texts and I was trying to make plans, and then I was calling her and I'm like, what the heck? Why isn't she answering? And just by her not answering, I started assuming the worst. I was like, what did I do? Did I hurt her feelings? Did I say something? Did I blah, 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 right? All those things that kind of come up in our head. And in fact, I realized, and I totally forgot, that she changed her phone number. And I had 2 of my best friends' names in my phone, and I was trying to contact the non-existent one anymore. Whew. Right? I worried about that and I stressed out over it. I mean, I remember a time when I used to say, man, if it's going to go wrong, it's going to happen to me. I never win anything. I never get to do anything cool, right? I don't want to go into this long, big story, but I think stories is how we grow from things, and we can accept that it was a story and then it doesn't hold us. But yeah, I remember a time, right? So I was a child and some bad things happened to me. I was a teen, some bad things happened to me. I became a young adult and some bad things happened to me. Hello, I'm an adult and bad things happened to me. But there's that you got to bounce back. There's that comeback coach in me, right? And I started to believe when I was younger with a very weak mindset that, dang, everything bad happens to me. Wise things happen to me, right? And I would cry myself to sleep about these things until I realized, I started developing a stronger sense of mindset through confidence and losing the weight and self-worth, that things don't happen to me, they happen for me. Okay, and I can understand that. So when I'm going through a tough situation in my life, I'm like, Lordy, what am I going to learn from this example, right? So I was the child that mom said, don't touch the stove, Carissa, and I would have to touch it. I have to learn things the hard way. And when you can embrace that and say, yep, it's cool. God put me in this situation for me to learn something. What am I going to learn from it? How am I going to use this experience to help others? That's when it's the game changer. So that, again, that inner voice comes up. It's like that courtesy voice that talks to the subconscious mind, which has been programmed since you were pretty much born. And I'm not going to get into the deep science behind our subconscious brain and why we think and believe the way things that we do. You can set up a coaching call for that. But what matters most is that you control your reality. You don't like the game that you're playing, I've said this 100 times, get your freaking game piece off that board and hop over to the game that you want to be playing. If you want to be successful, start being successful. If you're tired of being poor and being the victim, quit being the victim, okay? Get help, seek advice, ask for help. It's a huge thing, but you control your reality and you control your destiny. So when you think positively instead of thinking the worst, the universe, I promise, answers you. Okay. If you know me, you're like, I'm always telling you about my big ideas and my big dreams, is because I'm putting that out into the universe, because the universe will come back. It's that thing that we call karma, but I think it happens good and bad. You do good things come to you. You do bad things come to you. Just as easy as that. So the next one, number 5, is worry. Okay. So don't get confused with assuming the worst, which was number 4, and worry. So actually, in fact, when I think about worrying, it changes nothing except for our health and our mindset. Worries, doubts, anxieties, these are all a normal part of life. It's a natural thing to worry about how you're going to pay the next bill. Or it's a natural way for you to worry about the job interview that you just sat down for. It's a normal thing to worry about how your first date is going to go, right? But when the normal worries start to become excessive, when you cannot control the worry in your life, right? Like when you start thinking of the what haves and the could haves and the should haves, and that starts to control your mindset, it affects everything. Health, wealth, life, faith, everything. When you allow worry to take over your mind. Okay, so constant worrying and negative thinking and always expecting the worst to happen takes a huge toll emotionally, physically, mentally. So stop worrying and just take a moment to embrace in the unknown. When people ask me, they're like, Carissa, how did you go from one career, right? How did you learn to let go of the worry of the unknown in starting your own business? And I really did have to think about this question because it gets asked a lot. When females ask me, they're like, Carissa, how did you leave your full-time career, your job you loved, that paid the bills, that it provided everything for you? But the truth is, the answer is always, I embrace the unknown. I don't have to know what the future is going to hold for me. I've learned to let that idea of a perfect life go. I've learned to follow my heart and my passions, and it has never steered me wrong. So why would it now? Sure, jumping off the high dive and into this scary business of owning your own business and having to support yourself and your family all on your own again, that's tough. A lot of people, they're like, nope, I'm going to go back to the comfort zone. But I do not like to live inside the comfort zone. And in fact, as a coach, I'm always stretching my clients to reach out of their comfort zone so that they can grow. So the number one thing here is to stop worrying. There is no medication out there that I believe that can help you with this. I know a lot of people that are anxiety medicine and medication, but there are so many natural ways to take caring of worries and anxiety that you don't need to be shoving another pill down your mouth. It's just going to cause other things, other reactions. So if you need help with that, you know who to call. Number 6. Complaining. Damn complainers. In fact, when you focus on the negatives, you are never going to be happy or content in your life. So complaining is also bad on your health. A lot of people just, they know that complaining about certain situations, it's bad for your mind, but it's really bad for your health. In fact, complaining all the time releases that endorphin called cortisol, which affects our health. So how can we stop complaining so much? Because once you get on that train, right, you're on that complain train, it's really hard to get off, right? I used to have some friends that all they did was want to complain and bitch and moan about their life and their situations. And I'm like, girl or guy, if you don't like it, get off the bus. But I'm not here to listen to you just complain about your life. So ways that you can really stop complaining so much, or how to kind of stop that habit, is to step back, right? When you're in a situation that you would find yourself complaining about something, take a step back and look at the situation for what it is. Okay. Notice that when this triggers me, I start complaining about life. I start complaining to my friends, and nobody wants to be around that. The next way to kind of help with this would be to look within. Okay, what is your body and your mind really trying to tell you? I truly believe that our bodies, when we can stop and listen to what it is that they're saying, like they hold all of the answers and the keys. Some people, I'm trying to think of a really good example, but something happens to you and you get really, really angry. Okay, you get angry and you're pissed off at the world. But when I can take a step back and look within and be like, okay, body, mind, why are you so stinking angry? And half the time, if I really sit on that and I really focus on the question and I'm really honest with myself, it's typically a different, like there's an underlying reason of why you're so angry. Some people are lonely. Some people are being hurt by others. And so they think that the natural next thing to do is to hurt other people because it makes them feel better. So really take a look at that, what it is that you're feeling. So step back, look within, and then the next thing is to practice daily gratitude. Literally, that was one of my 2018 life lessons, was to living a life full of gratitude has been a huge game changer for me, right? Life happens, for me and not to me. Number 7, 2 more. I'm getting there. Number 7 is allowing our emotions to run your life. I hope you knew that this was coming, because our emotions play a huge role in our mindset and our health and our loving relationships and everything. So managing your emotions isn't the same as suppressing them. Okay. In fact, ignoring how sad you are or pretending that you don't feel that pain won't make those emotions go away. I'm going through a lot of stuff myself right now. A lot of different emotions are happening, are running through my body these days. And I can't hold those in. And that's a lot of what people do. In fact, unaddressed emotions are likely going to get worse over time if we hold them in. There's no good chance that suppressing your feelings will cause you, anything great. Like nothing comes from holding anything in. In fact, and it's when we hold those emotions in, that's typically when other coping skills come into play, like overeating, over drinking, drugs, again, hurting people. So the big question here is, how can we start to control those emotions so that they do not run your mind? They do not get to sit in the front seat next to you and drive. You need to address them, just like, the last thing of complaining, address them and say it's okay, right? So how do you control them I always like to say is first you label them. Okay, understanding which emotion you're actually experiencing is the first step. Again, you feel angry. What's the underlining thing is, I'm kind of mad, or I'm kind of sad, or I'm kind of lonely, or so-and-so just hurt me. And that is triggering my anger or my aggression or my rage. So you have to label them. And there's so many things, you guys, that you can do with our emotions. I just kind of list a couple of them that I see all the time, is that we have to reframe them. So sometimes the easiest way to reframe your emotion is to gain a different perspective. So when you can step back and ask yourself, take yourself out of the equation and say, what would I tell a friend who is going through this exact situation or this problem? And that type of advice is typically the good advice, right? Because you care about that friend. Another really good way is to reframe them or gain another perspective. So as a coach, we just provide fresh perspectives. They're not right, they're not wrong. It's just, let's look at that situation this way. What if your wife is upset with you because she is unhappy in her work life? There's so many different things that really trigger a lot, but just remember, label that emotion, understand what it is you're actually going through or feeling, and then reframing them. I had a good friend, he hated talking about emotions, in fact, and feelings. And I was always as a coach, I'm like, well, how does that make you feel? And he's like, If feelings were meant to be talked about, we would call them talkings. And I would laugh so bad, but I was just like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. And I'm definitely, I still like to, talk about our feelings, and I would always continue to ask him no matter what. But it was just funny story. So if you feel like the last resort is if you feel that you can't talk to anyone, if you can't talk to your friend, you can't talk to a counselor, you can't talk to a coach, the next best thing to get those feelings out is to journal them. It's a really great coping mechanism. It allows you just to kind of like write, get all those feelings out before you start like affecting other people's lives with those emotions. So definitely really a good tool to use if you're going through a lot of emotions. Number 8, the last one, is trying to control everything. This used to be a big battle for me too. As you can tell, I'm a human just like anyone else, and I struggle with so many things. But trying to control everything, right? You cannot control everything, and when you do, you will fail. Okay? So the only thing that you control in your life is your attitude and your reactions and your focus. So when people are like, I just want them to understand and blah, 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 and it's so quick to blame others and well, if so-and-so would just do this, then I could do my job, and they're trying to control every aspect, every moving piece of the puzzle. But in reality, we only control our attitude. We decide to wake up on the good side or the bad side of the bed. When you wake up on the bad side, you then have the next decision to say, you know what? I didn't sleep well last night. I'm not going to let that affect my entire day today. Or you wake up in the morning and like the dog took a giant crap like on your carpet. Now you've got to stop what you're doing, clean the carpet, and then now you're late for work. The kids are late for school, like all sorts of things. We can't control that. You cannot control when the dog throws up, or when a kid gets sick in the car, or when the baby like has an accident and now the whole freaking car seat's nasty. So we can't control those things. We can control how we react to them. We can control how our attitude is towards them. And then we can also control our focus, right? I choose to focus on positivity instead of negativity. Well, that's it, you guys. That's all I have for you today for today's video. That was 8 types of negativity that we need to ditch from our mindset so that we can live a happy, healthy, successful lifestyle. So just a couple things before I let you go is next week, I'm going to be starting a 5-week series all about self-love and reflection. So if that is something that you're like, I kind of need some self-love right now, or I kind of need to step back and see what it is that my mind, my body, my soul is wanting, this is going to be great for you. This is definitely going to be something that you're going to want to grab a notebook and like follow the 5-week steps, because we're going to go in order just like we did on the last 5 weeks series, of course. But yeah, if that's interesting to you, join me every Thursday, 7 p.m. We're talking about self-love and reflection. It's going to be a good time. The last thing before I let you go is the Jump Into July Challenge. We are getting plenty of people enrolled into that. I'm not going to tell you about it, but it is a 30-plus day movement, food, and mindset challenge. It's like a private closed group. We have everyday challenges. You'll get points for doing all these challenges every day. Fabulous prizes like massages, salt rooms, personal trainer sessions. We've got nutritionists donating things. So it'll be such a good event. Last year we did Jump Into July. It was a free thing. Of course, I've taken what was really successful and made it an entire course. It's going to be awesome. I'm even throwing in that 21-day Mind Plus Body Reset Cleanse after the movement challenge, of course. So it's technically like a month-and-a-half course. Trust me, it's not something to miss. So if you're looking to lose weight, gain energy, and just overall feel and look better in your life, I would encourage you to jump into July with 365 Daily Hustle. I've provided the link in the description below, of course, for you to take a peek at what that is. It's on Eventbrite. It's only $89.99. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely jump in because the first fun event starts July 1st, so you don't want to miss it. You guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my tribe, my support system. If you need anything, do not hesitate to reach out, call, text, Facebook message me any which way you need to. I would love to work with you as a coach if you're ready to go to the next level. Stay hustling, you guys. Have a fabulous weekend.